Last few years, a lot of people have become aware of the inequities in the criminal justice system. The fact that we spend over $80 billion a year in incarcerating people, oftentimes who've only been engaged in nonviolent drug offenses. Right now, with our overall crime rate and incarceration rate both falling, we're at a moment when some good people in both parties, Republicans and Democrats, and folks all across the country are coming together around ideas to make the system work smarter, make it work better. And I'm determined to do my part wherever I can. That's one of the reasons why I'm commuting the sentences of 46 prisoners who were convicted many years, or in some cases, decades ago.
Okay. Now, before we get to the meat of what the president was saying, and I actually agree with him on much of this, believe it or not, can we put that back up again? Because there was something very off about that video, if we can. If we don't have it, then just tell me. Oh, yeah, whatever, fine. Just put up everything.
Over the last few years, a lot of people have become aware
turn down
of
the
the inequities in the criminal justice system.
Now, see, that's not, that background there, he's not in that room. He's absolutely superimposed. Look at his head. It's kind of beaming through the, I don't know, they couldn't find a desk for him to sit at, so they put like the fake thing behind him? Yeah, does everybody else at home see what I'm seeing? Anyway, you can come back to me. Okay.
Background gate.
Yeah, background gate. Indeed. I'm
not emails.
I'm not saying it's a criticism. I'm just saying that looked weird to me.
And that is why Obama's the worst president ever.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying after 7 years, they couldn't find a studio for him.
Maybe the cleaning person didn't clean up the back. Maybe,
well,
you know.
That's true.
Maybe they're already packing up.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yep, it's over. Okay, very good. Anyway, that was President Obama last summer announcing he would be commuting the sentences of over 40 nonviolent drug offenders. Now the Justice Department is about to release 6,000 prisoners, a third of whom are illegal aliens that are slated for deportation. Once complete, this will be one of the biggest federal prisoner discharges in U.S. history. The release comes with mostly bipartisan support. According to the most recent data, 50% of sentenced inmates are in federal prison in 2014 were serving time for drug offenses. That's close to 100,000 inmates. Okay, are we being too hard on drug offenders here, which include those selling drugs in this country? I'm going to go to the guy in the middle on this one, because I'm curious. All right, a third are illegal immigrants, right? So they'll be deported.
Presumably.
In theory. Good chance they could come back because we don't really seal our borders in any capacity. But is this the right thing to do?
Yeah, it probably is the right thing to do. First of all, if they come back, that's our fault and shame on us for not having appropriate border security. Investing in keeping people who aren't even U.S. citizens in U.S. prisons, think of all the things we could do with that money. So we have to ask, why do we put people in prison anyway? If we just want to feel good about thumping them, keep them in jail forever. Why not? But if we actually think there's supposed to be a relationship between imprisonment and making America safer, this has been a bad investment. It was well-intentioned in the 80s. The mandatory guidelines were a response to a sentencing weakness and a real upsurge in drug use. All fair. Now it's time to learn. It didn't work. If anything, what it's done is it's normalized prison in large swaths of the culture so that actually people feel, prison? Why should I fear prison? I sell a little dope, I do a little time, I come back out, I sell a little more dope. Why not? Everyone else I know goes to jail. Yeah. Why shouldn't I? The real issue is, can we break the cycle of the normalcy of imprisonment?
And you get 3 meals a day, you get health care, the heat's always on, you get a gym probably.
I don't think people feel inclined to go to prison because they can survive. I think what happens is these, unfortunately, communities are being ripped apart, fathers are being torn out of homes and mothers, and they go into jail and they can't get jobs when they come back, or because these communities had no job opportunities, they sold a little weed on the streets to survive.
So let me talk about the perception of it. 6,000 prisoners are about to get out of jail, right? And in America, like my wife's at home, she's making dinner, 6,000 people are going to come out of jail, and crime's up, and people will just have this perception that it's going to lead to unsafer street spend.
Well, notice that the president said crime rates are falling, so that's a justification for letting out 6,000 felons. I don't really follow that logic exactly. But a couple things worth noting here, and we can conflate a lot of issues. One, I think it's definitely legitimate to have a conversation about nonviolent, quote-unquote, offenders, and depending on what drugs they use, certainly we can talk about the mandatory minimums.
But can you penalize them or fine them if they don't have any money in the first place? You know what I mean? In other words, what's the penalty then if they don't go to jail?
Yeah, I think it's very difficult. I don't have the answer for you on that.
Should
but
they have been sentenced 60 years in jail because they were caught with like an ounce of weed?
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm
that's
saying
what that's what these people
the
are.
released people here are the term of their sentence. No one is saying this. I don't think anyone here is saying don't put them in prison or fine them a couple $100, because even many drug offenses, if they're non-violent, are part of a violent culture connected to drugs. But forever, for a little bit of dope, something is off there.
How about community service? Clean up the community.
No, absolutely. But a lot of these people have served several years already. It's not like they haven't served their time. These are people who've been in jail. A lot of them have been falsely accused, didn't have access to legal representation, because unfortunately we have a broken justice system that doesn't give people representation.
Well, in this case, Republicans and Democrats are actually together on this. It looks like, amazingly so. Okay, so what do you think about the upcoming release of 6,000 prisoners? Go to newsmaxtv.com/comments. Let your voice be heard. Might read some of those comments later in the show. Up next, doctor-assisted death is now legal in California. We'll have more right after the break.